Hey guys, what's going on? Just another little video here on how to replace a battery in a Mazda 3. This is a 2010 to 2013 key fob, and what you want to do is basically switch the key out, and then there's a little push button trigger inside the little slot where the key folds into. If you can kind of see in there, use a light, and there's a little tab that you need to press on. So I suggest using a small screwdriver about this size. It seems to be the easiest to kind of stick in there, and then we'll use this again later on to crack open the case, and it works well just based on the size of the end of it. So I'm just going to put my trusty headlight on here. This always makes things easier, so you don't have to hold a light and take up one of your hands as you're doing this. You can just, this thing kind of sheds light where you're working. So I'm just going to look in here, locate the tab, and okay, so once you stick your screwdriver in there and put a little pressure on that tab, then you should be able to pull it apart like this. It basically releases so that you can pull it apart. And then the next step, you can kind of set this piece aside, and the next step will be separating this piece here with the buttons on it. You know, there's kind of two halves to this casing, and you want to split that apart. So what you want to do is basically put your little screwdriver in. There's like two little indentations here, and you should be able to put your screwdriver in there and, you know, give it a little twist, and it kind of pries that apart. You might have to do it once on each side and play with it a little bit. All right. So yeah, once you stick your screwdriver in here and then you pry on it, you can see there how it separates the case in half. And if you're kind of careful, you can take this top half off where the buttons are, and just the plastic case will come off. Okay, so at this point we have everything apart. You can see all the different pieces here. We've got all the little plastic buttons together there, and our rubber piece, and then the battery type is a CR1620, and when you're putting this back together, you'll see on the remote where the battery goes, there's a plus symbol. So you want to put the plus side of the battery down, which is the bigger side, and it basically pops in there. Kind of put one side in first on like the spring-loaded side there, and then it just snaps into place like that. Okay, a little finicky, but once you get everything back where it should be, this little white piece fits in between the lock button, which is at the top, unlock, which is the middle, and then your red panic button is at the bottom. And then you can kind of set that down, take your other part of the fob, and this rubber piece is going to sit on top of it like that, and it should fit nicely in there. And then you can basically sandwich this piece on top, and you don't want to spill the buttons out. You want to kind of keep those in until that rubber piece can put pressure on it. Okay, so when you get these buttons in here, you have your lock button at the top, you have your little white divider piece, and then you have your unlock, and then you have your red panic button at the bottom. And then you can take this rubber grommet piece, and then if you have a look at it, there's the two buttons on top of each other, and then two side by side. Obviously those ones side by side will go over the panic button, and the other two would be lock and unlock. So you can just set that on top of the plastic buttons, and then you have your two pieces that you just want to kind of hold that and sandwich it back together, Don't let it fall out because you want the buttons to stay where they're supposed to be. And I have this piece backwards, so I'm just going to switch it around. Okay, and then if this piece fell out at this point, you can put it back in, and you should be able to tell which side it goes in here, because there's a little, one side has this little piece on it here, so it'll fit on the side that has that gap there. And you basically just kind of clip it in, and then once the casing clamps down on it, yeah, once that casing clamps down now, it'll lock it into place. And that's how it should look. The casing's clipped back in. And I can see the red, actually, it's kind of cool. Okay, so this little clear button across the middle here, between the lock and unlock, there is a little light. So when you press the buttons, that lights up, which tells you that the remote is working. And then now you can take your key and just clip that back into the remote like so. Just make sure that it's locked, because you don't want to lose the 1/2. Once it clips in there, you're good to go. You can fold your key away, fold it out. Again, make sure that there's no like funny pressure going on that thing, so it can like swing freely. And you're good to go. Lock and unlock. I can see the light coming on there. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but this part lights up red to show you that it's got power and it's working. So we're back in action. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video.